How's it going, my aristocrats? I hope you're all doing well today. And today I'm going to talk to you all about a very, very simple concept. The more work you put into yourself, the more you're going to be rewarded down the line. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. So, I see a lot of people wanting things right now that they really want in the future, but they're not really doing anything to work towards that. And I especially see this in terms of relationships, in terms of wanting a girl or something that supplements you and all that good stuff. Like, oh, I want a traditional wife. Oh, I want this. I want that. Okay, so what are you doing to improve yourself? I see so many of these people that are asking for a traditional wife or wanting a traditional wife or this and that, just sitting on the internet all day. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting there. What are they doing with all that energy? Energy that could otherwise be put into self-improvement. Now, let me tell you this one. A traditional girl is not going to come, or anything you want is not going to come if you just sit there all day on your ass. If you just sit there all day on the internet doing whatever, watching porn, watching stupid YouTube videos, playing video games, this and that. Hey, my videos ain't stupid. You can watch my videos. That's it. Watch my videos, watch self-improvement videos, anything you guys want that has to do with self-improvement. Don't overindulge, but watch the self-improvement stuff and then apply it to your life. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Why are you focused so heavily on the reward when you haven't been able to, well, or rather, when you haven't been doing anything to get the reward? So, the reason why I bring up specifically relationships is because I see people in the server commenting on this. I see people in the server talking about relationships. I see people in the server talking about, oh, like I want a woman who's like this, or oh, I want a woman who's a virgin, like this and that. And that's all great. That's all fine. I want that too. I really want that too, believe me. But I'm trying to put in some work to get there. And we all got to be doing the same. But the first thing I'm going to tell you guys that you really need to work on is healing past traumas. Because let's say that you do get into a relationship sometime now or whatever, those traumas are going to surface during the relationship. And I speak from experience on this. A couple of years ago, I was dating a girl. I was dating this girl. I was on self-improvement for a while, and then she just kind of came into my life. I really wasn't looking for anything at the time, but she just came in and pretty smart, all the rest of it, you know. And we clicked really well. We clicked really well because we had similar interests, similar sense of humor, this and that. And so because of that, the first 2 or 3 months of the relationship went fine. But it's only 3-4 months in when things started to arise. Because when you know each other for a certain period of time, when you know each other for like 3 or 4 months or what's etc., you've been dating for that amount of time, problems start to arise. Or rather, the old traumas that you haven't worked through start to come to the surface. A lot of the old traumas, a lot of the old insecurities that you haven't really dealt with, they come to the surface. And in my case, so in my romantic life prior to dating that girl, I had to deal with a lot of competition. I had to deal with a lot of, I don't even know how to describe it really. There's just a lot of stuff that I had to deal with back then. So competition was one of them. Let's see. Oh yeah. Untrustworthy women was another one. Like women who would just kind of put me on the back burner or leave me for someone else, this and that. Getting friend zoned is another one of them. So I had a couple of insecurities working up inside of me, and she had a couple of her own because she had been through a lot in the past as well. And the problem is that before this relationship, neither her nor I had really taken the time to work through our previous traumas. I was on self-improvement, but I was really only focused on the physical aspect of self-improvement at the time. I didn't really know much about the spiritual aspect of it. And so I wasn't really going within to do my shadow work and healing myself and healing my past traumas and all that stuff. So all that trauma was unhealed. So after about 3 or 4 months of being with this girl, it all just came to the surface. All that trauma, all the deception, all the wars that I fought over women and this and that, all that stuff came to the surface, and all the insecurities that arose from those experiences. And the same thing with her. So her insecurities were a little bit different. And so I was the one who was a little bit overly attached, and she was the one who had problems getting attached. And that was a very, very big problem, as you can imagine, because you have two opposite ends of the extreme. So problems arose I was with her for 7 months in total, but those unhealed traumas are eventually what broke up the relationship. A relationship that otherwise would have been good, that otherwise would have been stable if we had actually worked through our traumas and healed it. So that's why it's very, very important to work through these past traumas, to work through whatever the hell you've been through in the past, whatever somebody else did to you in the past, whatever experiences you have. It's time to work through that. It's time to heal from that. And it's time to let that go. Because I'll tell you this as well. People put so much energy in harping on past traumas too. And I used to do this too. Even so much as a year ago, I used to think about this stuff all the time. And I used to spend so much time and so much energy thinking about all these things that happened in the past and fearing if it was going to happen again or this and that. But why am I wasting my energy on that? Why are you wasting your energy on that? You know better. Or we should know better. Relationship stuff, it's kind of hard to talk about, actually. I've had a lot of experiences, let's say that, a lot of bad experiences, and I've learned from my mistakes. I definitely have, but it's still a little hard to talk about sometimes. But that's what this channel is all about. It's all about the brutal honesty. I'm here to be as honest as possible with you guys because I want you guys to learn from my lessons. The whole purpose of why I created this channel is because I wanted you guys to learn from my mistakes, because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through too. I know as well that when I was first getting into self-improvement and I was first watching self-improvement YouTube videos, I really, really wanted somebody to accurately guide me throughout the entire process. And I did find some really, really good channels, but I mean, at the same time, there was a lack of that stuff at the time. And so I really wanted to put in my own 2 cents into the self-improvement YouTube market and stuff to really get a different perspective out there, tell you guys about what some of my experiences have been, etc. So, yeah. Anyways, as I was saying earlier, you don't want to spend too much energy trying to get like a woman or trying to get all this stuff into your life. Yes, you should put an effort, but because most of us are men and we are creatures of action, but that action should be taken on the self, because women can tell. Women can tell if you're working on yourself. Women can tell if you're putting all that energy and all that drive and that discipline into yourself. If you're doing that, if you're on your path, if you're on your purpose, other people will notice. And guess what? God is going to bring people into your life that suit that purpose. He's going to bring friends into your life that are going to help to propel you along the way. He's going to bring business associates into your life or connections that you may need for the future. And he's going to bring romantic relationships into your life that are going to help to propel you forward. As I was mentioning earlier with the story with the girl that I was dating earlier, I didn't expect to meet her. I was on self-improvement for a while. I was working on myself and this and that, but I didn't expect to meet somebody like that. Like, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for anything. It just came. And with my most recent ex, like a couple months ago or whatever, it was the same situation. I was on self-improvement. I was working on myself, and then this girl just kind of came into my life, and then that happened. And even though they didn't stay, I did learn some very, very valuable lessons from all these experiences. So even when God does bring somebody into your life, you don't want to get too attached to the outcome as well, because that was one thing that really, really brought me down when it came to my other relationships and into making those relationships last. So you really do not want to get too attached to the outcome, because the outcome is the outcome. Whatever happens, happens. And if it fails, then you learn from it and you move on. It took me a while to realize that. It took me a really, really long time to adopt that mindset. But that mindset is adopted now. Because you can't think of these bad experiences only as bad experiences. No, you have to see the lesson in them too. You have to analyze them and say, hey, what led to this happening? Why did this happen? What did I do? What did I do wrong? What did this person do wrong? What are some things that I should be looking out for the future? And all that good stuff. So there's a lesson in all this stuff too. And from these two experiences that I'd mentioned to you guys right now, I had learned some very, very valuable lessons from that. And I would not be where I am today if it was not for those experiences. So it's definitely all about mindset. It's all about viewing things with a positive attitude. It's all about viewing things with a positive mindset and going into things wholeheartedly with positivity. And this was something that people were telling me even back then, like, oh, you got to give your all, you got to give your all, like this and that. And I was very apprehensive to do so back then in a relationship, because I was like, oh, like I gotta vet this person, make sure this person's good, etc. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do. Just enjoy the experience to the fullest, enjoy it to its fullest, and then whatever happens, happens. You can't control the outcome. And that's another thing I want to talk to you guys about here. Controlling the outcome. You can't do that. As I said, the outcome is the outcome. And what are you going to do? Well, what are you going to be doing if you're trying to control the outcome? You're expending energy. So I want you to think of things in terms of brain points. So let's say you start out the day with, I don't know, 40 or 50 brain points, right? But every single worry and every single decision you have to make is going to erode at those brain points throughout the day. And it's going to make your brain more and more exhausted. So, especially when it comes to trying to control the outcome of a situation, especially when it comes to a relationship, you're going to be losing a lot of brain points, so to speak, quote unquote. So let's say you start out with like 50 brain points at the beginning of the day, right? But then your girl texts you something, but that text has something that's like worrying you a little bit or something like that. And then you just get all anxious and uppity and stuff, and you're expending all these brain points worrying about what the outcome of this is going to be. Or you said something wrong and she gets mad at you, and then you're worrying about the outcome. That's like what, 20 or 30 brain points right there. You're already down like from half of what you started. And believe me, this used to drain the crap out of me. The ever-living crap out of me with every single freaking relationship I've ever been in. This used to drain the crap out of me. I used to go in there, and let's say that I was worrying about saying something wrong or whatnot. I always felt like I was walking on eggshells in relationships, like, period. And let's say that I said something wrong and then she gets mad at me. I would be worrying the entire freaking day. The entire day I would be worrying until this whole thing was resolved. Or entire couple of days in some cases. Because, first of all, I was much younger back then. I didn't have the experience that I have now. But second of all, it's very easy to get wrapped up in that worry because we get wrapped up in the outcome. But if something's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. I really, really don't want to talk about this incident, but for the sake of this video, I'll bring it up. Back when I told you guys about the first girl from the beginning of this video. Back when I was dating her, me and the boys, we decided to go out for a ski trip, right? A ski trip or somewhere out in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. So we decided to go out there. And my girl and I, we had unfortunately gotten into a fight right before I left the house. That was it. Right before I left the freaking house, we got into a fight. You know what? If my friends are watching this right now, you guys can attest. You guys remember this freaking story. You guys remember. So, we get into a fight literally the day that I'm leaving to go on this trip with my friends. And I'm trying to resolve everything, and I literally spent my entire energy that trip worrying about the outcome of that situation. I didn't even enjoy the trip. And it wasn't any fault of my friends. No, it was entirely my fault. It was entirely my fault because I was worrying about something I couldn't control, or someone I couldn't control. And so what happened? I didn't enjoy the trip. And that was entirely my own fault. She got mad at me, and then she was acting all like, I don't know if I should forgive you, this and that. Like, and it wasn't even something that bad. But I really, really hate thinking about that experience. That was terrible. That was really terrible, bro. I don't miss those days, I'll tell you that much. But hey, we live and we learn. And that's the point. That's the point of me making these videos. That's the point of me talking about this stuff with you guys, because I really, really want you guys to learn from this wisdom. I know it kind of feels like I'm rambling right now, but these are some really, really important tidbits for you guys to understand if you're going to be dating and stuff in the future. So definitely keep this in mind. That's going to be it for this one, guys. I feel like I've probably made this too long already, but you know, had to give my 2 cents, had to kind of give my wisdom where applicable, etc. Especially when I've seen so many other people from the server messaging me either directly or tagging me in the server about something similar, about relationships. And so, with that said, that'll be it for this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.